Millionaires Are Made, the show where we believe you can grow to be a millionaire in all 6 aspects of health. That's right, we share tips every week to help improve your mental health, your social health, your financial health, obviously, spiritual health, intellectual health, and like today's episode, your physical health. Today, we are focusing on your physical health and how to improve it with the topic of functional fitness. Functional fitness. If you've never seen a Millionaires Are Made episode, this is the show built on the fundamental beliefs that every person you meet knows something you don't, and there's something to be learned from everyone in this big, beautiful world. Here at Millionaires Are Made, we are on a mission to teach the world how to grow into the healthiest, happiest millionaires in all aspects of life. So, we went out and got 3 awesome guests today, and they're going to give you 3 awesome tips on how to improve your physical health with functional fitness. In the spirit of authenticity and to try to remove as much bias as possible, we do not talk about tips or advice before the show starts. So what you hear is going to be the same time I hear it, and it's going to come from their own personal journey. Audience, this is a very interactive show. Please feel free to comment and ask questions, and we will put them live on the air. And real quick, something fun we love to do is shout out our followers. We on Facebook, we got Elia Isabella, Instagram, Jessica Grayson, TikTok, Mariah, and YouTube, Morgana Marie. Thank you so much for following us. If you want to be shouted out, it's just a quick little follow. If you want to be a guest on our show, we love having new guests that we've never heard from, as well as our old guests. But if you got some piece of advice to share, we're dropping a link right now. Sign up, be a guest, come say hi, and come share your expertise with the world. That also goes for topics. We're always looking for new topics in all 6 aspects of health. If you've got something maybe you're struggling with or something you know a lot about and you want us to go out and find 3 awesome guests to give 3 awesome tips on that topic, just let us know. Comment or like or send a DM however you want. And as we have to do on social, if you like what we do, sharing all the info that we can find, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, send stars, whatever it is, wherever you're watching from. Yeah. Cool. We're going to drop a link right now as well for a free growth consultation. I love talking and helping. Maybe I can do something for you as well. It is free, one-on-one with me. That link's being dropped right down now. Feel free to sign up. We've also got merch. We just launched our merch a couple weeks ago. You can get awesome shirts like this and mugs and all sorts of other stuff. So feel free to go ahead and buy some merchandise and support the cause. And finally, but not, we'll get to this one last thing before we bring our guests out. First off, I want to shout out the people that make this episode possible. We have Craig Sikofsky, who is a human behaviorist and mentor who helps all the entrepreneurs in the world discover their true identity, their purpose, and achieve their growth in business and in life, which is very important for entrepreneurs. Our next sponsor is Sarah Jones. Sarah used to be buried in debt in an unhappy marriage, and they had money, but it wasn't working for them. So they figured out how to refresh and start with a healthy financial foundation. And now they travel the U.S. in an RV in a happy as hell marriage, teaching everyone else how to have healthy financial foundations. Our next sponsor for this episode is Dana Record. Dana empowers over 30-year-old individuals with essential end-of-life planning knowledge, helping families reduce their stress and navigate loss with clarity, preparedness, and peace of mind. Tough topic to go about, but it's someone that can be there for you with the end of life of your loved ones. Next, our final sponsor for this episode is Roxandra Nachita. Roxandra is a passionate mom of 2 under 2. She's also a podcast host, a speaker, and founder of the Super Moms Magic Circle, helping heart-led moms turn chaos into clarity. Check out her Facebook group to join the journey, or DM ma'am to us and let her know. Thank you so much for your sponsorship, and that means we are ready to bring out our first guest. Our first guest today is one of our favorites, Samir. Tell us, who are you?
Hey, Austin, how are you doing today, man? So I'm Samir Dasani. I'm a health coach based here in South Africa. I'm also finishing my PhD in anthropology, so I'm technically an anthropologist. I also write books. I also play music. Yeah, I do a lot of things, but my passion is healing people.
Passion is healing. Healing physically or healing mentally? Or both?
Bit of both. It's all connected, but the entry point for me was really physical health. The entry point, as you know, Austin, was really about learning the disconnect between our modern environments and the way humans evolved to live.
Yes, the disconnect, modern environment's way to live. Awesome. Samir, I've got a very important question for you on that topic. If I wanted to improve my physical health with functional fitness, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
Yeah, so I think where this is a question that I've wrestled with, but where I've ended up at the moment is, can we just focus on body weight exercise? Can we do 100 push-ups and 100 squats within 30 minutes of waking up? Can we just do that?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Do you do 100 push ups within 30 minutes of waking up?
I absolutely do. I absolutely do. So this is something I started. So when I say I struggled with this, let me explain why I struggled. Because when I look at it with my anthropologist hat on, it's like, what did humans evolve to do? We evolved to walk long distances. We evolved maybe to run. There's something called persistence hunting that we do, that some tribes still do here in Africa, where they will just walk down a deer basically until it gets too tired, because humans have sweat glands and deers don't. So you'll never be able to chase a deer in like a minute or two, but you can, if you're a good tracker, you can tire the damn thing out, and eventually you don't even have to kill. You can, like, it just sits there, and you can walk up and cut its throat or whatever you need to do, right? So that's the original form of human hunting. We believe that's what humans evolved to do. But I can't really tell my clients to go out and do that all day, because that's a good 6 to 8 hours of walking. So given that we all have jobs, we all have stuff we got to do, how do we get some benefits? How do we get something going in the morning? And what we found is that body weight exercises, first of all, they're safe. You're not going to injure yourself. Worst comes to worst, you won't be able to do them all, but you're not going to hurt yourself. With weights, I worry about people hurting themselves. Number two, it's super effective for what we call the centenarian decathlon. Like, think about what the things you want to do if you make it to 100 years. What do you want to be doing between ages 90 and 100? You want to be picking up your grandkids. You want to be putting luggage in an overhead carrier thing or whatever. Functional fitness is really the right term for it. So thinking about that stuff. So body weight exercises are a great way to make sure you maintain some of that. And number three, it increases nitric oxide production. So nitric oxide is a gas that we produce naturally on our skin in the sunlight, but also when we do exercise. And it just loosens us up, loosens our muscles, loosens our arteries, keeps our heart in great shape. So I find that this is really, it's a simple step we can all do, that just makes it just makes us a little bit fitter. And it's not I'm saying 100 just as a starting point. Like, I think I probably started with 50 and now I'm doing 100. And I think from tomorrow I decided I'm going to start with 200, because 100 is getting too easy. So you got to keep upping it as it goes.
And I assume that do you do all 100 at once or do you sets?
I at the moment, so I started with sets of like 20, so 5 sets of 20. Then I did 4 sets of 25. Now I'm sometimes doing like 2 sets of 50. But I think tomorrow it's going to be 4 sets of 50 instead of 4 sets of 25. So I'll do 4 sets of 50 to get to 200, and I'll do 25, or I'll do 50. Sorry, let's keep it at 100. So I'll do 25 push-ups, then 25 squats, then another 25 push-ups, and I do variations. I don't do exactly the same thing. Yeah. So first is sort of a regular push-up. The second, you keep your hands together. The third is like this. It doesn't really matter too much, but it's just about trying to exercise slightly different muscles as we do this.
Yeah, so move it up a little bit. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Samir. So let's. You talked a little bit about your past, but maybe tell us a succinct version of where you learned this tip.
Like I say, it's not an easy one to come by, because for me, with my anthropologist hat on, the kinds of exercises we evolved to do are not the kind of exercises that lend themselves to the modern lifestyle. So trying to think about how we can merge those two, how we can marry those two in a safe way. What I don't like to see, and what happens often, unfortunately, is I'll get a client who's like, I went to the gym. I saw your video on Monday, and on Tuesday I went to the gym, and I don't advocate weightlifting in my videos, but other people do. And I was so excited. I did my first deadlift, and now I can't lie down properly. Like they really injure themselves super quickly, right? Because especially if you do heavy weights without supervision, without working with a trainer, the chances of injury are very, 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 very high. So yeah, so we want to just make sure you start in a way that's going to be safe, and body weight exercises is a way to start that's safe for people who aren't used to doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So push-up, squats, and various other things, maybe crunches or tricep dips or whatever, lunges, all that kind of stuff. Awesome. All right, Samir, we're going to move on to our next guest. Thank you so much, and we'll bring it back out here in the round robin. Next up, we have Scotty Geo. What's up, Scotty?
What's up, man? How are you doing?
Scotty, who are you?
I am a functional aging specialist, and I'm an avid sneakerhead. I probably have about 300 to 400 pairs of sneakers, which is way too much.
Sneakerhead. All right. And you got some record covers there too, so you kind of are a little bit of a collector, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I come from the generation of collectors. Kids don't collect anything anymore, but like, the rest of us old people all have a bunch of warehouses full of junk. You know what I mean?
We fund all the storage facilities, huh?
That's right. That's right. I mean, half my garage is full of sneakers in here, so it's like they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Awesome. All right, Scotty. If I wanted to improve my physical health with functional fitness, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
You have to remember that we are 3D, right? So
Okay.
what that means is everything we do is primarily moving forward and backward or in our sagittal plane, right? Just moving in this one plane. So when you walk, when you sit, everything you do is in that plane, right? But we are 3D. We are three-dimensional people, and we move in all these other ways than just that one plane, right? So when I'm working with people, what I try to do in every single session that I get them into, if we're not working on some sort of mental something or whatever, if we're working physically, like just with physical stuff, I try to get them to move as in many different directions as I possibly can, reaching and turning and leaning, because ultimately everyone's had that situation where they go to brush their teeth and they've injured their back, right? And you go, what's up with that? Well, what's up with that is that your body isn't ready to do just weird little movements like this. And as we get older and we age, those little movements become possibilities of having injuries, falling down, and all that stuff. So the more you move in the type of environment we live in, the safer you're going to be as you age.
Okay, perfect. All right, Scotty O, tell me where you learned this piece of advice.
So I just for a long time, I was just like a trainer. I didn't do any kind of coaching or mental stuff or anything like that. I was just a trainer, and I was lucky enough to come across this client. His name was Dave. He was 79 years old when I started working with him. And he had like personal trainers before and stuff like that. So he kind of knew what we were doing. But I saw him from 79 all the way till 91 when he passed away. And so what it showed me is, it was like a preview of what's going to happen with my parents, right? Obviously. And then a preview of what's going to happen with me. And I walked that journey with him all the way to the end. So, I saw all the deterioration in his mental health. I saw the deterioration in his physical health. I saw him lose his meaning and purpose for wanting to be here, which happens like as we get older. And so it made me reshape how I approach my clients, because we're all in the same journey. He was just 79 when I started with him. But when I have a young athlete at the beginning of his career, he's going to go through all these same things too. And he's going to go probably on a more amplified level, because he's going to have injuries that are like way worse than probably will experience, and things like all these mental hurdles, all these physical hurdles going to come back over, And so what it made me realize is that there's this more holistic whole approach to the way we age functionally. And the movement part of that needs to be the preparation for as we get old. So like, now I do a ton more stretching. I do a ton more foam rolling. I do a ton more sauna. I do a ton more I play basketball. I play a lot of basketball. I try to do as many things to do differently with my body as I possibly can, so that when I go to do something really, really simple, I'm already prepared and ready for those things as I age.
Awesome. Wow. All right, Scotty, thank you so much. We're going to move on to our next guest, and we'll bring you back out for the round robin. Get interested in seeing what else you have to say. All right, next up we got Ty. Ty, who are you?
By day, I'm the lead physical therapist for the Human Performance Optimization Team at Camp Murray, Washington, for the for the Air National Guard, for the Air Force Special Warfare Tactical Air Control Party. And then by night, I am the founder of the Triumphant Challenge. And so I just rewrote the mission statement for what the Triumphant Challenge is. So I'll briefly share that with you. Triumphant is a global tribe of everyday athletes who believe fitness is bigger than themselves. We create challenges that turn personal growth into collective impact. We move together, we struggle together, we grow together, and we honor the stories that shaped us and the communities that need us. At Triumphant, every rep writes a legacy, every mile moves a mission, and every challenge changes culture.
Wow. All right. That's a pretty powerful mission, Ty.
I had two people before me, so I could get that all out. Exactly. Yeah.
Good.
I had time to think about it.
It sounded great. All right, Ty, I've got an important question for you. If I wanted to improve my physical health with functional fitness, what piece of advice would you give me?
I would say work out outdoors. So I think a lot of the gym culture is perfectly calibrated weights, perfectly calibrated barbells and dumbbells, and we didn't really evolve in that environment. We evolved in the natural world. So like Scotty G was saying, we had kind of a 3D evolution of our physicality. So we had to get out into nature, and we had to carry large, abnormally shaped objects. We had to cross the savannas, all these different things. So I would say getting out in nature, picking up a log, putting on your shoulder, going for a little bit of a walk, carrying a stone in your lap or whatever. So making fitness more of an adventure than really just a strict
chasing down a deer for 8 hours till it gets tired.
That too. If you want to go persistence hunting, do that absolutely. But I would say for functional fitness, there's nothing better than getting some vitamin D outdoors and resetting the circadian rhythm. So if you can do that, early in the morning, you're going to knock out a couple birds with one stone there. So that's the biggest thing that I've found that's benefited my own functional health, is just picking up real things in the real world.
Cool. Awesome. I love it. Ty, where did you learn that piece of advice?
Yeah, I would say I really got that idea cemented in my head as of January of this year, joining a different group. It's called F3, so Fitness, Faith, and Fellowship. It's a group of men that meet up at parks, and I don't know if you've heard of them before, but they meet up at parks. It's free for everybody. You show up usually at like 5:30 or something, grotesquely early in the morning before work, and you do body weight fitness, and you do kind of led in a peer rotating fashion for who leads the workout. So there's always a cue, they call it, or a leader of that specific day, and you do the workout. You have a circle of trust at the end where you can share what's kind of going on in your own life as a way to improve male community bonds and leadership throughout the community. So, doing the F3 thing as of January has gotten me out of my own bubble, and a way to do the hard thing, to swallow the frog, first thing in the morning when it's rain and cold in the Pacific Northwest in Washington here. So
that sounds challenging. All right, Ty, thank you so much. We're going to bring out everyone. Audience, this is a fantastic time to ask questions for our guests here. But let's go ahead and start with Samir. Do you want to quickly refresh what your tip was for us?
Yeah, simple body weight exercises within 30 minutes of waking up. Get that blood pumping.
That blood pumping. Scotty G, what are your thoughts on Samir's tip?
Can we just give a big round of applause to Samir doing all these push-ups every morning? That is impressive, and it's awesome. And I don't have anything to argue with either one of these guys. That's the bad part, is I love everything that everyone's saying. It's so awesome because that's what functional fitness is, right? It's exactly what everyone's talking about. And so you just can't forget that, in that 3D environment, like Ty was saying, you have to move in a bunch of different ways because your body moves in different ways. And gyms are set up to move in a way, not in ways. You know what I mean? They're different ways, but when you're on a specific machine, you're to move one way, and your body just doesn't do that. You know what I mean? It does, but it doesn't do it the way we want it to, I guess.
Yeah.
It's fascinating that you guys are all talking. I've never been to a gym, never done an exercise in a gym, so it's always fascinating how guests are here, and you guys are all talking about not in a gym. I don't know about chasing deer down, Samir and Ty, but I mean, picking up logs and walking around outside sounds way more entertaining and fun than going to a
Right.
gym. Ty, what are your thoughts on Samir's tip?
I do love that tip. I do, a 5-minute body weight routine every morning as well. So I've had a couple of shoulder surgeries. That's what's got me into physical therapy myself as a physio. So I have to do a couple things for my shoulder every morning, some rotator cuff stuff. So I think starting the morning with that win of doing, the almost like brushing your teeth. Like you got to take care of your teeth. You might as well take care of the rest of the muscles and the bones in your body every morning as well. So I think starting in the morning, body weight only, decrease the injury risk is a perfect way to start. So I agree with that tip.
Have any of you heard of the app called the 7-Minute Workout?
Yeah, it's old school.
Old school, is it not
Okay.
good anymore?
I don't think
No, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I remember it was a book before it was an app, man. It was a book in the 70s, I want to say.
Yeah, I
or
think it
maybe
was a
the
book
80s.
first. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I think for a little bit it was a movement because I use a 7-minute workout and I try to do 2 of those every day, and then I incorporate some stretching from my soccer life of injuries and strains to go with that. Cool. All right, let's move on. Scotty, refresh what your tip was for us.
That we are 3D, right? So the environment's 3D, so you want to move 3D because that's true functional. That's functional movement there.
Ty, what are your thoughts on that tip?
again, that resonates with me as a physical therapist because so much of what we do, like you said, is a very sagittal plane, forward, backward kind of motion. I see a lot of runners break down because that's their entire sport is going in one direction all the time, repetitive overuse injuries. So whenever I work with a patient that's a runner, I'm always getting them to do more frontal plane stuff, step ups, hip control in that frontal plane. So there's a lot more that goes into the singular motion of a rep of a, bicep curl or something like that. So 3D motion is definitely good for different angles and forces on the joint as well to improve our joint health. So big fan. There's nothing, really bad to say about either one of these gentlemen in this chat today. So I like it.
Good. Well, that's always a good start. Samir, what are your thoughts on Scotty O's tip?
Yeah, no, I love it. I absolutely love it. I love what everyone's saying. The only thing I would change slightly is the wording, because to me 3D is, yeah, we're 3D creatures, so we'd always do that. To me, my sort of home sport at the moment, not my home sport is really tennis, but my second sport is really martial arts. And as a martial artist, what we think about is like, it's really about circular. It's about a certain spiraling kind of a movement that we want to kind of get into things. And when you sort of think about joints as things that move in spirals, then suddenly we're doing those variations to the body weight exercises that might actually increase flexibility, that might actually do other things as well. So I love it. I might just tweak the wording a little bit and say, can we get something about sort of circles or spirals in there? Because it seems to me that that's a better way of explaining the same concept. Maybe I'm wrong though. I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong though.
I don't know. I mean, it's not my concept. But if I were explaining it as a martial artist, I would be thinking in terms of, in nature, everything sort of spirals, and there's a kind of a movement this way. So that's how I would explain it.
All right, there you go. Some constructive tip. All right, Ty, can you refresh what your tip was for us?
My functional fitness tip is to exercise outdoors in every capacity that you can. So picking up weird objects, odd objects, put them on your shoulder, carry them in your arms, whatever you can do. Make it a little adventure, like you stated, but make fitness fun. Do it outside.
All right. Scotty G, what are your thoughts on Ty's tip?
Oh, I mean, he couldn't be any more on. We're inside too much already. Like, just in general, we're inside too much. We need to be outside way more than we are. So if you take an opportunity to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone, right? You get outside. You can even do grounding at time. So you do all your exercise
100%.
barefooted, and then you're grounding at the same time, right? There's so much benefit to being outside. He nailed it. Totally nailed it.
Samir, what are your thoughts on Ty's tip?
Yeah, I love it. I try and it's getting to be wintertime here where I live in Johannesburg. But I love it. Yeah, I try and do it outside. I try and do my exercises outside as well whenever I can. Grounding is a big part of it, of what I do. So I'm not going out of the forest. If we leave, if you just go for a walk here in Johannesburg, the chances of getting mugged are like not zero. So we stay sort of close to, yeah. So we stay close to the home. We stay close to the home. We focus on the grounding, and if we have any sticks and stuff around, I mean, I have a bow staff, so I'm playing with that every day. So I love Ty's tips as well. Yeah.
Well, what did you
Is
say?
that why you do so much martial arts?
Yeah, I have a bow staff. You want me to bring it? I got guitars behind me and bow staff over there. So it's a bow staff. If someone ever attacks you with a knife or a sword, I think if you know how to use a bow staff, you can pretty much kick their ass. Because it's just longer.
Yeah.
It's longer than even a sword would be. But unfortunately, we live in a world with guns, so it's not particularly useful if you're going to get mugged.
Unless they come at you with an old school sword.
There you go.
Unless King Arthur's chasing you down.
King Arthur, yeah. You got bigger problems.
Yeah, if King Arthur's chasing you, got bigger problems. Cool. Awesome. Well, guys, we are pretty much at the end of our show. It is time to do our daily challenge. It is a task or series of tasks that must cost $0, be less than 5 minutes a day, and available to anyone in the world from Johannesburg to the Virgin Islands that helps us improve our physical health with functional fitness. What advice do you guys have?
I think we can merge some of the ideas here and, say do 30 minutes of body weight exercise outside within 30 minutes of waking up if you can.
It's got to be 5 minutes or less, though. So as long as we have that caveat in there, I don't
think you can do the hundreds in 5 minutes. You could do 50 in 5 minutes. 50 push-ups, 50 squats.
Yeah, maybe 50 push-ups, 5 minutes outside. That might be good.
Cool.
And Samir was already, when we talked three-dimensional, when he was talking about changing his hands, he was already talking about 3D. That's 3D, or that's circular, like he called it. So you're already. So then you just with your feet, you do the same thing in your squats. You're here, you're here, you're here, you're here. You just help those hinges of your knees be supported by the mobility points of your hips and your ankles.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
All right, so here's where I think we're gonna go with this to try to make sure. Thanks, Silver Fox. Ty, your energy's great. So let's try to do this. So we're gonna do the outside. Go outside. That's a very simple task. Great. And so now to have everyone able to do it. Some people, say they're 90 or say that they are, have an injury right now. So I guess the first thing would be, I guess go outside as early as possible when you first wake up, and then I guess the goal would be to increase number of reps each day, right? So this will be a week-long challenge. So they say the first day you can only do 10 push-ups. All right, you go out and you do 10 push-ups and maybe 10 squats. Cool. The next day, let's make sure you get to 11 or 12 or whatever it is. So for the next week, improving. And if you can't do push-ups or you can't do squats or you're physically unable, whatever your situation is, at least go outside and start stretching. Maybe you're just stretching your arm. And each day, stretch it farther and farther. Or maybe each day, maybe it's your legs that have a problem and you just start stretching and opening those up, or your back or whatever. That sounds pretty much like it, right? Just wake up, go outside for 5 minutes and move your body and progressively get better each day.
Easy.
Beautiful.
Damn good challenge.
It's one of those that sounds easier said than done. Then when we wake up in the morning tomorrow, we're all gonna be like, all right, let's go do this.
No, man. Everyone's gonna be doing 200 push-ups with me. Come on.
I love it.
4 sets of 50.
I think I do. So I have 30 seconds. I have like a minute. So I do like a 38 push-ups and 30. So I do like 72 push-ups a day.
But how long have you been doing the same number?
Probably like a year. Well,
yeah,
because the workout is just 30 seconds. So I started it like doing 25 and 30 seconds, then 30 and 30 seconds, then 32, 34.
Oh, so you are increasing the load. All right, cool.
Yeah. So I guess 38 is probably. I increase it every so often, but it's all about the speed, because then you have 30 seconds. You're like, trying to do as many as you can. But now I go hike that mountain. So I'll drive down there and hike that mountain and then do the workout at top and then hike back down. That's my new favorite. way to start. Cool.
Are you
All right.
advertising?
You should carry a log with you next time.
Are you advertising the Virgin Islands for us?
Yeah, come on down. I'll teach you how to hike that mountain, and we can work out at the top.
Nice.
Awesome,
Nice
guys. Well, I think that's about all we got. Silver Fox, you got any questions for him? I just like to call him out. He loves to come onto our physical health ones.
Beautiful.
But if we have nothing else, I mean, that's pretty much it. We did what we needed to do. We got our daily challenge. Any last things you guys want to add before we wrap up this episode?
No, man, just keep the faith, guys. Just keep going,
Oh,
going and doing the thing.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
even
gonna
if you-
follow y'all stuff and like friend request
for
you,
having
so
me.
be looking out for me. That's that. You know, I'm gonna
Yeah.
follow y'all guys.
That's what we did backstage beforehand.
Cool.
Well, I gotta like his
Audio.
personal Facebook. Like I want to be friends with Samir because I want to see all of his stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Samir, we love seeing his stuff. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, hey, that goes for you, audience, too. Come follow us. Come hang out. Say hi. All of the stuff is shared in the comments. If you have any questions, just shoot us a DM if you want to contact them. As for Samir, Ty, and Scotty OG Blank, thank you guys so much for coming out. And we'll put you backstage. I'm going to wrap it up.
Thank you.
And audience, thank you so much. Silver Fox, thank you so much. It's so much fun when you come on and hop on. And hope you guys learn a little something. I mean, functional fitness, it's all about making sure your longevity in your life is good, and that we can keep moving forever. It all starts with something. You got to move every day. Our daily challenge is get outside when you first wake up and at least do something physical, whether it's stretching or push-ups or doing a full-on hour-long workout if that's what you do. Let's try to do it outside, and let's try to make sure our bodies